Welcome, everyone, to It Tastes Different Gaming Appetizers. And we're going to talk about everybody's favorite subject, AI. AI seems to be in the news a lot these days. It always is. It's a trending topic. It may be less trending than when it was first coming out, but it's gaining a lot of traction. A lot of the game shows and the games convention and things like that are showing off AI and stuff like that. Nvidia has their AI powered and will basically be putting AI powered NPCs in a game called Mecha Break out in sometime in 2025. No release date, but so Nvidia is just one of these tech companies that's leading the charge in AI and video games, right? They keep trying to find new ways to implement AI in your gaming. I mean, they've got some scaling technology that they put out, all kinds of stuff that they do. They even got some frame injection services that they use that uses AI and things like that. But Nvidia had a blog post that confirmed that Season Games' upcoming action project, Mecha Break, will be the first to use their new AI-powered system, the Nvidia Ace. And Nvidia Ace is just like a conglomeration of AI tools. It's their Avatar Cloud Engine suite, so it'll be using that in their game. It's it's NPC conversations. It'll be interesting. I mean, it's essentially how AI basically is got to start almost, really, if you think about it, large language models, and that's what this is going to take use of, is large language models. Large language models have been around for a long time. A lot of chat bots and stuff like that use LLM and things like that. So it's not something new. I'm just surprised they put it in a video game. I kind of wonder, are they going to do all of this in like voice? Probably not. It's probably a lot of text speeches instead of having some AI voiceover. Because this is kind of part of what the whole SAG-AFTRA video game actors are fighting against too, right? This type of stuff in video games. Are we going to go back to the day of less voiced over video games and more AI chat in video games? Because I don't want that. I like my fully voiced games, more than I like reading a wall of text and then trying to infer their character to me. I prefer them to present the character that they envision to me rather than me have to go, that guy looks like one of the evil British douchebags. He probably talks with the typical Star Wars bad guy voice, and that's, that's why I like fully voiced over game. I don't have to imagine. But in this blog, Nvidia touts the large language model that they're using. You'll be able to converse with NPCs in games. There was a demo that you can watch too. You can see the Ace being shown off in the Mecha Break. The NPCs are supposedly be able to see gamers and identify people and objects in the real world. They can use your webcam as well as OpenAI's ChatGPT-4o language, large language model. It says that the Mecha Break can also use the NVIDIA's audio to face 3D NIM, and that's their NVIDIA's inference microservice solution. So, which is also, it's a fleet of microservices that are supposed to help deployment of AI generation models and things like that. A lot of cloud infrastructure behind all that and stuff. So it's going to be interesting. NVIDIA does say that there's other games out there that are going to be using Ace, but I think this is the first one to come out. NetEase and Tencent and Ubisoft and a few others are supposedly playing around with the NVIDIA Ace tools to put a lot of AI type stuff in their game. I did not watch the video. I kind of wish I did, because I want to hear if it's AI voice or if it's text. I need to see that. I should have watched the video, but I didn't have time to watch the video. And to be honest, I really wasn't too interested in it, because as much as people do or don't realize in life, you do a lot of things where you talk to a large language model. I mean, almost all of the online help services is some type of LLM. They're designed to mimic human interaction patterns. They learn and you feed them more data, and they learn to get rid of some of those more robotic, pun intended, ways of communicating with people, and they're more apt to interact with people on a more human type level. Obviously, they're never perfect. If they were, then they'd be passing the Turing test, right? Some of these are probably pretty close to passing the Turing test, but So kind of, this is what SAG-AFTRA is worried about, right? If they can do this and use the voice of your favorite character as the voice of the NPC, then, that's what they're all worried about. It's going to be interesting to see, because what happens if the SAG-AFTRA people win, right? And you have voice actors and stuff out there. And let's say by accident, a gaming company uses like this Google Ace to generate AI voices for NPCs. And it happens to sound really close, like some non-well-known. Like if it comes out sounding like, Scarlett Johansson or Troy Baker or somebody like that, we're going to be like, yeah, no, that wasn't an accident. But, some lesser known name start out, or what it comes out sounding like one of us. We're not in the voice actor, so it really probably doesn't apply to us. But now you have a character that sounds like you in a game, and you're like, how do you feel about that? Or a lesser known voice actor. They've got to, if they've got protections of SAG-AFTRA and they win and there's stuff put in there, then I guess they have some recourse. But if you're not well known and you're not a member of the Actors Guild or anything like that, and they put out a game and it happens to have your voice, I guess it's tough shit. I don't know. I hate that, because that's just what's going to happen, right? There's a lot of people sound alike in life, and that's what's going to end up happening. They're like, oh, it's a coincidence. We just trained this model, told them that we wanted it to have, the typical Star Wars English bad guy voice, and they come out sounding like pompous English people, and that's what the bad guys sound like. That's what's going to happen. Or this could be the death nail for voice actors. They're like, we don't want to work with any of you. We're going to just train our large language models because people are having a hard time. I don't think that's anytime soon, granted, because I don't think that AI voice acting is very good. Like even a lot of the videos that I've seen where people are trying to pass off AI, you can kind of hear the inflections and understand that's not a human voice, right? It's almost like that uncanny value with pictures and faces where there's just something wrong. Your ears almost are like, something just sounds weird. So, what do you guys think about this? What do you think about this game, Mecha Break, coming out with this built into it? What do you think about AI? It sounds like you don't have to write dialogue for these NPCs. I mean, I guess as long as they're not a big player in the game, not a big component of the storyline, you can let these NPCs interact whatever you want until one of them starts going off the rails and being a jerk or an ass or racist or something. And you're like, oh, I wonder where that came from in that large language model. What do you guys think about that? Nick, what do you think about this game, Mecha Break, using the Nvidia Ace tools and all the capabilities that their NPCs are supposedly going to have, and maybe things that could go wrong?
We've seen Mecha Break a few times. Every time we see it, I think we think it's Gundam, but it's not. Or Zone of Enders, but it's not. It's Mecha Break. So I guess we have somewhat of an interest in it. I like the idea. I mean, the SAG-AFTRA, they did conclude that that companies could use their voices for AI, but they had to say okay to it or something like that. Or it was basically, they made it to where companies could do it, but the voice actor had to sign off on it. Right. That was essentially what it concluded for that. So, because they had went on strike a while back in regards to this. It's a cool idea. Like if I can, I like the fact that it uses the camera, and I'm assuming your microphone, to where you could basically talk, like they would be able to see you, or not see you in a sense, but know that you are there, and then acknowledge that you're there, and then you could talk into the microphone and then say something and they would speak back to you. I mean, it's like semen on steroids. And I'm talking about the game. Not Seaman.
Seaman.
I was going to say, your pronunciation was a little wet.
Seaman. Sorry, it's a multiplayer game. The Seaman game, but on steroids, right? Or a Milo, which Peter now, what's his face, showed off like years ago. Yeah, there you go. He's trying to come back and make something else that's going to fail. But anyway, Yeah, it's a cool idea. Like I really like the whole, I mean, AI is interesting. The whole concept's interesting, and it's going to continue to get bigger and continue to push into more areas. So it's really just comes down to regulation. Um, we've talked about it before, but AI you can't be at the wild, wild west. You got to regulate that stuff and make sure that not just AI voices, but AI photos and videos and things like that are regulated in some sort of sense. So that way people can't just go all willy nilly with it. But that is, essentially in the long run, that is the future, right? Being able to, just think about like, I just think about like as the technology advances, like playing an RPG and you as the main character, you go around and you can speak to your companions and they speak back, right? Based on the large language model to know how to respond to what you're saying and stuff like that. Like, I don't know if starting out they would have a certain set of sentences or phrases that you would need to say in order to get the action going, right? Kind of reminds me of those old adventure games where you could type out, like Ultima and stuff, where you could type out like different phrases.
The old muds.
Yeah. And it kind of reminds me of that, but you're talking instead, right? But I mean, eventually it's going to get to the point where you could say pretty much anything and it's going to, respond to you in some form or fashion. Whether or not, it could get to the point where it could get racist or sexist or say some weird things, but that's just stuff that they've got to, those are the kinks they got to work out. But ultimately, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I find it really interesting and I'm kind of excited for stuff like this. As long as they can do it right and it comes out to be done correctly, I think this could be really cool for certain games and being able to interact in that way, right? It's a new level of interaction in your games to be able for the NPC to notice you there via your webcam and be able to talk to them, just to be like, hey, how's it going? They're like, oh, hello. And you're like, that's the cool. I don't know. That's just really cool to me. So I'm all for it. So that makes me want to try out Mecha Break even more. I mean, I think we were going to try out Mecha Break anyway, because I think we all kind of thought it was interesting, but I really want to try it out just for the AI NPC portion of it, just to see what it's like, right? How this technology is being introduced, because you're going to see it more and more, right? This Mecha Break's not going to be the first or the last game to introduce this. And if it works out well for Nvidia, you'll see a lot of games start to utilize some form of this AI NPC model that they're setting up, the Ace system, as well as other competitors coming into the fold, making their own versions of, this type of, which I'm sure there are, but this type of system. So it's just, I know we all don't, some people don't like change and various things like that, but I would say get used to it. You're going to see stuff like this and it's a little jarring, but I don't know. I'm kind of interested in seeing that. Right. We talk, we see those games that have like, they talk about, we have, umpteen thousands lines of dialogue. And it's like, yeah, that's what it was back then. Right. And now it's going to be like, hey, we just have a large language model, which has like billions of code of dialogue. So you can say whatever the hell you want and it'll respond. Right. And that's what it's going to eventually get to. And so that's going to be really cool, especially like I said, for RPGs and stuff, or maybe adventure games or something like that. Or maybe even Call of Duty or some war game in the future. I don't know. It kind of reminds me also
AI guns, then they're going to get their own voice. It's going to be like pew pew, ting ting.
I know exactly where you're going to go, Nick.
With Rainbow Six,
Rainbow Six. Yep.
Yeah, back in the day, telling them to throw a grenade or flashbang or whatever.
Didn't the original Mass Effect and stuff try to do that too with like voice commands?
Mass Effect 2 did, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it was at first. I think it was the second one.
But they were like very rigid, like commands. Like you'd have to say this, and they would go. Yeah. And that was back with the Connect and stuff.
Ubisoft had that
That's
fully.
Right,
that Ubisoft had that one game that was fully voiced. That fully voiced war game.
I think it was Fields of War.
So you'll have to check out the little tech demo video because the guy is actually talking to the NPC in his voice, in the tech demo.
So,
but the NPC is responding back in the very monotone.
Right.
Yeah. But here's the thing. So I love anything that makes a game better. Now, I don't know if I want my game to be watching me, checking out my background and talking to me about those things. Hey, before we start this mission, I see you got Goku beating the shit out of a little bikini Asian girl in the background there. What's up with that? I don't know if I want my AI that far. I don't
think it's going to do that.
Exhibit's going to come out and be like, hey, yo, dog, I saw that you like anime figures. Here's an advertisement for anime figures in your game.
That's where it's going to go. That's where it's going to go.
It's going to be advertisement.
It's going to be advertised. It's going to be like, look on his desk. There's a can of Coke. There's this. It's going to be like, all right, I need to target ads for Doritos and Coke to this guy.
How many times have you guys, we've been talking to each other about some on Messenger or on this, and next thing you know, our Facebook and every goddamn site we go to, it's scrolling to that same shit. So it's out there. I'm worried about how far things will go. Now in the tech demo, the guy was like, all right, I want my mech painted gold and white. And she was like, okay, so do the thing, goes gold and white.
Yeah, he's asking her about mission specific details.
Yeah, he was going,
where's my mission?
Yeah, he was going the whole tech.
Which mech is faster than which is the fastest of the mechs and things like that. Which is
and that's kind of cool, except for the fact that I know people. I am a people, and I don't like people because people will take things too far. Because the first thing I would have asked her was, what size are those breasts, and can I see them? I want to see how the AI handles that.
She's got none, though, because she's wearing armor.
Take off your armor. Show me your breastises. That's what I wanted to tell her.
You are 5 years old, Shane.
And I am 5.5, buddy. I'm probably closer to 13 just because of my search history. But my problem with AI, and like I said, I love anything that makes my games better. And in all seriousness, I don't want AI to take away the voices of the actors. I don't. If an actor says, yes, we can do my dialogue, use my voice for this game, it should be for this game. It should never be, it's in my data bank now. You can't have it back and I can use it for whatever I want, which is what a lot of these corporations were trying to do. And that's just wrong. Now, there was another part of this tech demo that they had where they were showing how the AI actually upscales old games and things like that. That's how much, how cool this stuff is. That I'm all for. They showed like a Tomb Raider in Doom getting AI upscaled and tweaking the lighting and all that. It was badass. It was a night and day difference. That I'm okay with. I am all for that. But I don't want my camera, we're doing this and, it's like, all right, like you guys said, they're going to start shooting me advertisements for, 12-inch tall anime figures. Thanks for that, by the way, Nick. But I don't want those kind of things. I mean, our face is all over the internet as it is. And I don't mean from this. I mean, just from looking at our phone, our damn face is on the internet. From using our web camera, our face is all over the internet. It's, I'm worried about things going too far with AI. I don't want people losing their jobs. I don't want people being tricked in. I mean, it's like, all these politicians are putting out this crap with these AI images. That's like, no, you would never be there. Those people would never like you. Those are so misleading. And I don't want that stuff in my games because, the trailer I'm going to get is going to mislead me. And then I don't know. I'm okay with AI to a certain point, but talking to my AI, that's kind of cool. I do like that. I love Seaman. I don't know what you like.
You like Seaman.
Only leaving it, never taking it home with me. But the biggest problem as I have is literally, I'm just worried about things going too far with AI. AI is interesting and AI can be cool. AI, just like any other tool in life, it can be used for good and evil. So it definitely has to have some sort of laws for it, that you can't use it for certain things like misleading people or tricking people. You get I believe, Pat, you were telling me you could get a phone call from somebody that sounded just like your Nana, and they're trying to, hey, I'm stuck in Bogota, Colombia with a 8-pound bag of coke. I left my passport. Can you send me some cash? I don't. I mean, not everybody's Nana's into it, but mine is.
Send me an Uber.
Exactly. So the things with AI worry me just by the going too far part. But when you use them for things that I like video games, I can see the benefits greatly. You're playing an RPG, and it's a role playing game. So you're going to feel more into the role. You're going to feel more into your character. Final Fantasies, you used to be able to rename your characters. You'd put your name in. I'm the hero. Now you can put your name. You can put your voice. That's what I like. That sounds really interesting to me. I just worry about the bad parts of it. The good parts I like. I like the good parts. The bad parts I don't like. But I don't want a game being created by AI either. But that's going to happen. I don't think we're going to get much of a choice out of that. Game publishers are just about money anymore. We still have good game developers who are about the game. It's the publishers that are going to do all this implementation and ruin the game industry even more when they start implementing AI to create everything. Wasn't one of the Call of Duty DLC characters or guns or whatever, it was created by AI. Somebody hit a button and said, hey, make it purple with pink lightning falling out its ass, and they did it. That's it. That was it. That was the job. To me, I don't like that. So. But that's about the end of my rant, except for if you're going to do it right, do it in a fun way, do it in a way that works with your game. From this tech demo, the guy talking, all right, what's the best equipment or the best tech or whatever. I can see that, but to me, that came off too E3. How you get the tech, the guys up there doing their demo and they're doing the multiplayer. Okay, Bill, you go to the left. I'm going to run up here to the right, and I'm going to throw. No, we don't play like that. Nobody plays like that. We play together all the time. We ain't never said anything like that. That's the way the tech demo felt. Now, if it felt more natural, it'd be like, all right, just give me the absolute best mech, make it purple with shiny unicorns. There we go. That would have been a more natural test of that AI. All right.
The answer to that would have been, sorry, Shane, but you need to purchase the unicorn paint.
Yes, the
microtransaction store. That's a $5 add-on. Would you like me to auto purchase that for you?
I have your card and your face information.
No,
it's okay.
Did I hear yes?
Exactly.
I heard yes. Please confirm yes. No,
AI automatically switched to Dutch language, and I'm pretty sure you said yes now.
Yeah. So, I mean, there are cool things about it. Like, it would be cool to be able to converse with an NPC in that way, right? Yeah. And I assume that they're only going to use this for story components. Like this is the tech demo is done with a mission NPC, right? Because at first he's asking the mission NPC about the mission details and location, and she's reading off the details and fast attack mech or whatever, and he's like, which mech is recommended for this scenario or whatever, and why? And she explains and tells him that you need this, and then he's conversing with the NPC about revamping his striker unit, which I think is what they call them. The striker units in there, they're just freaking Gundams, they look like Gundam. But yeah, and then he has her paint it and change out some weapons and things like that, load out on it. So I mean, that's all cool and everything, but at the same time, will it get used? I may use it maybe once just to try out how cool it is, but at the same time, I'd just rather click a button, give me the mission.
It just depends on how well and how
I can hear it now. All three of us are playing a multiplayer game, and we're all three like mission details. Damn it, AI! I said mission details.
Yep. Cortana, take that top off.
And that's what we hear from Shane.
Master Chief.
Yeah, so I mean, this is going to come out sometime next year, 2025. But that Mecha Break is, and I'd forgotten about Mecha Break, and we saw it. And I'm thinking Gundam, and same thing. Every time I see the trailer, I'm like, oh, that's the new Gundam game. Yeah, looks really good. Because I was a little disappointed in the last Chibi Gundam that we got. I was hoping it was going to be a regular Gundam and not Chibi Gundam.
Yeah. But, now I have seen mods for like I think it was Elder Scrolls, if I could talk, where the guy put an AI chat thing in, and it had some really interesting
Elder Rings.
Elder Rings.
That's what happens when you get old and you can't hold your sphincter.
Elder Rings. It's a Florida Pornhub. But I've seen that on there, and he had some really interesting responses. So
I mean, Helldivers 2, the guy created an AI bot for that where you can speak to it and it pulls up stratagems. Like he'll tell it to give me a 500 kilogram bomb, and it does inputs the commands into it for him and then responds in a predetermined voice that he chose. There's some services already out there, and he was using that for the voice response. And you can type in whatever you want them to say to acknowledge that it's loaded up and ready to go. Now, it's not as quick as like humans doing the button combination, but it could be definitely transformative for somebody who's got some disabilities, right? Like maybe the way your hands are shaped, you can't really push the up down, quick, because sometimes you're like, I need this orbital strike now because I got bugs up my ass, and you're trying to run and you can't, and so I can imagine somebody that's got some type of physical disability will have more trouble with that. But that was kind of cool to watch stuff like that. And I think it's got its uses, but right now this seems like, I'll be honest with you, this is really bad face for gaming right now, because this SAG-AFTRA video game voice actor strike is still going on.
And
and this is these are the very things that has that group up in arms, right? They're like, what type of protections do we have that you're not going to use my voice? Because I can foresee this if at some point AI voices get to the point to where they can have feeling and emotion, and they're really hard to distinguish between a person, a point where you don't need to hire voice actors anymore.
No.
And then
why did you tell me to take my top off?
Yeah. Right. Or she's going to be like, you want the damn mission details? Let me tell you what this mission.
Yeah.
You're going to get steamrolled by the front.
Why am I going to tell you?
You're going to die. And it's not going to be pretty, and it just has its whole like inflections and everything like that. It could pass a Turing test if it wanted to, as we said earlier, so I can see why they're a little bit afraid, because this is going to take jobs away from them. And also they need to protect their property, whatever you want to, I don't know how you want to, basically they want to protect their rights, their voice, their likenesses, things like that. They need to protect their intellectual property, their voice, their face, everything. So you got to be able to protect that. But at the same time, video games could just start ramping down the use of voice actors and start putting this in here. They'll no longer need those minor voice actor roles, because this is an NPC in the game that's just there to give you mission details and things like that. And, and if it can use an LLM to be like real life interactions, that just makes it even better. It's really hard to do real life interactions with pre-recorded voices, because you have to be able to understand human speech and things like that, which a lot of games don't build in. But at the same time, to be able to respond to that in a predetermined way, because before it would just be, I asked this voice actor to record 100 lines, and we use them in these 5 vendors, and they have the same 10 different lines depending on what you're asking them. With AI in there, you can pretty much just have them interact the way that you would give them a simulated what's the word I'm looking for? Simulated personality, right? Like this NPC, he's kind of a jerk. That's the really nice NPC, and this guy here just doesn't care. He just wants to go home. He hates his job, that kind of stuff. You could give NPCs some type of personality, and then it does sound all cool. It is kind of scary for the future of gaming, where it's going to go, because at the same time, these AI tools can reduce the cost of production for a video game, because if I don't have to spend millions of dollars on voice acting,
They're still going to raise the price.
It's still going to raise the price. We're not going to see a discount. We're not going to see a discount none on that, right? So it'll still be $70, $100 game or whatever. And people can argue till the end of time if they want that back in the 90s and 2000s games were $60 and they're still $60 and that's like $120 equivalency or whatever. I don't care. I'm not spending $120 on a video game. That's why they're not $120. And also not to mention that a lot's changed in the industry in the last 10 plus years with digital being the dominant method of buying games, which means that the video game developer has zero cost of distribution. So, so it is what it is on that front. So every business is there for themselves to make money for themselves and their shareholders. You're the consumer. They don't really care about you as long as you pay them. That's all they are. They're all just like, pay me now. And, so the less money that they have to put into developing and producing their video games, the more that they'll be happy. And the less that humans will get paid for it. AI is going to be doing it all for them. It's going to be making all those arts, making all those skins, and that $20 skin will be $20 skin, and it take an AI all of 2 seconds to dream it up and render it up for them and be like, here you go, $20. We get 50 people to buy it, one person to buy it. We don't care. As long as one person buys it, we made money. And we had to pay a person to do it for us.
Yep. We could use AI to cure cancer, but a new skin on that gun would look awful cool.
So just so you know, AI does use for that. Like, if you guys ever play like, what is it called? If you play EVE Online has an actual medical puzzle game on there. What's it called? I'm trying to look it up real quick. I always forget what it's called, but Project Discovery. That's what they have. So like when you're doing something boring in EVE, like you're mining an asteroid field or whatever in EVE Online, they have this thing called Project Discovery, and you map out areas around cells, and they use that to train AI models to map out like cancerous cells and things from imaging to help it detect things like that faster. So there are games that do stuff like that, and you get rewards in EVE Online for doing Project Discovery and things like that. The Project Discovery is part of it's part of a scientific community project. So it's developed in collaboration with Swiss startup MMOS. It is a unique mini game, quick and easy, rewarding. I'm trying to figure out what they was going for, but I don't have more details on it. I did it a long time ago, but I can't remember what they were using the stuff for, but it was like cellular mapping, because you highlight areas on a grid and you say, this is the walls of the cell and things like that. And AI will predict how accurate you are based off of AI and stuff like that. So they do that in some games. But it probably could, like you said, if Google and all them just gave use of their TensorFlow GPUs and things like that to allow more scientific research, we probably get through a lot more things, but there's no money in that for them. So, all right. Yeah. So here it is. Project Discovery focuses on new frontier cancer research through the innovative use of flow cytometry simulators. Capsuleers will contribute to understanding critical immune system diseases, including cancer. You'll analyze data produced by flow cytometers by using a tracing tool to draw polygons around clusters of cells. You will help analyze crucial cancer-related data and help train AI models to provide results with similar levels of accuracy. The efforts will support scientists in decoding how our immune system interact with and combat cancer. So yeah, so you do that in EVE Online. So, and that's just kind of similar back in the day where you could sign up for these programs and install an application on your PC, and during idle time, it would crunch numbers for research and things like that. You would basically be giving them access to your resources for free for scientific study. But you never hear much about those these days and if they're actually producing any valid results, right? Unless you're probably in the scientific community, and then you would probably know more. But, well, I think we've kind of killed this subject. We've talked to death. You guys got anything else before we see if we can have this AI pass a Turing test?
I'm not here. I'm not real.
I'm not a cat, I promise.
Sorry, I'm not a cat.
All right. Let us know what you think. What do you think about this, the Google Ace being used in this game and for future especially some of the stuff like they're doing, they're talking directly to the NPC and getting, feedback, and they're using large language models to do predictive text and things like that. And then the whole facial recognition and talking directly to the AI NPC and things like that. What do you think about that? What do you think the repercussions are on the gaming industry? Especially, what do you think, especially the SAG-AFTRA groups, like they're fighting for this stuff right now. They're still on strike on the video game side of it because of this. I know the whole movie actors and stuff came to consensus and stuff with the MPAA and all the Motion Picture Association, all that kind of stuff. But video game are still actively striking over this stuff right now. So let us know what you think down in the comments. And you've reached the end of the video. If you're not subscribed, come on, help us out. We could really use those numbers. Help push us over the top so we can keep doing what we're doing. We enjoy just talking and BSing about video games. And so we decided, why not put it on YouTube? So if anybody else wants to listen in or add their 2 cents down in the comments, go for it. We read them. We check them out, and things like that. So let us know what you think down in the comments, and hit that bell to get notified every time we put out new videos. We hope you enjoyed this episode and hope to catch you in the next one.
See ya.